Yeah, there are so many one note tales of triumph on LinkedIn that are masking humble bragging. It's funny, it's laughable. There's lots of things that would be like, I'm just going to pick a ridiculous example, but things like, I wanted to become an Olympic runner, so I worked hard and I got it. Stay humble. When what you're missing is the nuance or things that you could get insights from. Like, I wanted to become an Olympic runner, so I started running and injured my hips. That's when I realized I was too old to become a runner. So I decided to double down on my career and became a teacher. That's actually insightful and something you would learn from. And there's like ups and downs as opposed to that, and LinkedIn is full of them. I wanted to start my own business, so I did, and now I have 10,000 leads a day. It's like just bragging. You're just bragging. You haven't said anything. And you could say that as well. Like, I wanted to start a business. I worked really hard. And you could talk about like the stumbling blocks you encountered. That will be really interesting and useful because you're telling other people what to expect and how to overcome it. But instead, it's just bragging. And then you'll have people saying stuff like, 12 months ago, I was at rock bottom, but look at me today. Then you look back at 12 months ago, and then they were saying, 12 months prior to that, everything was a disaster. But now it's fantastic. So whenever you speak to them, it's just fantastic all the time, no matter what happens and what's going on. It's funny. It's actually
It
funny.
physically hurts my brain. So I
Stay
I,
humble.
I find it just so fake. And
Yeah, when you're running at 5 o'clock in the morning and reading your LinkedIn at the same time, it's just so.
I just like just, just get a life. But like more to the point, I think you kind of knocked the nail on the head. It's just like a lot of other, it's becoming, unfortunately, quite like a lot of other social media platforms where it's a borderline kind of highlight reel. It's like, let's tell everybody that I took a risk and I quit my 6-figure job to start my business, and now I'm turning over X number a year. They don't tell you any of the fundamental bits in between it. They very rarely show you any data. Like, very rarely do you ever see any kind of like factual evidence that supports the things that they're saying. Which, all right, I'm not going to be the person in the comments being like, show me data, show me proof. But like, at the end of the day, there will be someone who actually wants to benefit from that piece of information. There will be someone who is like, that might inspire them, and they need something more tangible. I hate it when people tell those stories, which are just, yeah, humble brags. They're just like, so I just think they're really egotistical, to be honest. They don't give you any insight. They don't tell you anything. You don't walk away going, cool, I now know something that I didn't know that can help me do something that I want to do. Um, and that's kind of like what I said when they kind of like thinly veil it around a point. They might put the point that the thing is, what you need to do is start using Miro for your process. But like go away, like no one cares. I just find the whole thing just, yeah, I just find it really like farcical. um and it's becoming more and more and more prevalent, and it's becoming more and more prevalent because people are being told that they need to start telling their story more. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's kind of like, all right, my story is that I am a solo entrepreneur, or whatever it's called, a solopreneur, and I've started a startup. So how can I storyfy my journey? Okay, well, I'll do it by insert hook title here to get people to click read more. I'll then use some emojis as bullet points in order to create some kind of visual stimuli, and then I'll put a selfie so people can see I'm real. And like, that formula works maybe like once, but when you do it like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, it just becomes another manufactured post in order to generate engagement. Like, it doesn't actually give anybody anything tangible. So I'm like, when I post, I don't always give people a teaching. In fact, actually, I post quite often deliberately with not giving someone a teaching because, one, I'm not a teacher, and two, I also believe that people don't always want to learn. Like, they're not always that, like, we're so overexposed to information. The average person sees like over 500 ads a day. Like, we've got very good at like deleting information from our brains and like skim reading stuff, and not really, they're only consuming something that we genuinely want to consume. And I don't personally want to sit there every single day learning things that are new, because how am I going to use all of that information? How am I going to tangibly start using it to do something better that I already do? So like I'll quite happily do a post that isn't a learning and is actually just taking the piss, because the reaction I want is someone to have a laugh. And if they have a laugh, then I've achieved what my post set out to do.